Hi, everyone. I'm Ruffy and Tittman, Executive Director of Friends of the Wissahickon, and I'm here for our May Creekside chat with Brandi Nicole of Hike+Heal. Brandy's a great new friend of FOW, but a longtime visitor of the Wissahickon, and centers her practice, Hike+Heal, in our park, but not limited to it. She's traveling all over the state and probably beyond. I'm thrilled to have Brandi here today. And before I start peppering Brandi with questions, I'm just going to talk a little bit about FOW. We are the stewards of the Wissahickon Valley Park. We have over 2,400 members. We preserve the 1,800 acres of the woods and the meadows and the streams. And we also look to engage people in the life of the park and experience all it has to offer. And ultimately hope that when people enjoy this green space, they themselves become advocates for it, whether it's contributing time and service or speaking out on important issues to our local officials, as well at the state and federal level. So that's a little bit about FOW. And now I'm very happy to welcome Brandi, founder of Hike+Heal. Brandi has a master's in health administration and health education, and also a passion for hiking. And so, Brandi, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, first, how did you discover the Wissahickon, and what led you to form your practice, Hike+Heal?
So, I actually found the Wissahickon while I created Hike+Heal. So, Hike+Heal was an idea I had just to meet with other women and find out how I could hike in my own city. So I went to Google.
Where we all go when we have a question.
Yes.
Or we should.
Yeah.
Did you Google it, folks?
What was life without Google?
I don't know.
I don't want to. But I went to Google and I found the Wissahickon, and I was stunned because I thought to myself, how in the world did I not know that this was here? And I've lived here all my life. I went to college here. I studied my master's here, and I was ready to leave. A lot of people don't know, I was ready to really venture out and just get a change because I've been here at that point. It was 29 years. So I asked my parents about it, and we went out. And I looked, on the Friends of Wissahickon map, and I was like, okay, this looks promising. This looks like I can do this, and I'm very good with direction. So I just led us through the Andorra Meadow, through the Bells Mill entrance. And once I went to the Bells Mill entrance, I was like, oh, I've driven through this, but I've never, really noticed what was around, because you got to get going. On Bells Mill Road, you can't just stop.
No.
At the stop sign, you stop.
Yes, stop at the stop sign, but otherwise people really they want to move through.
Exactly. And we went through, it was amazing. And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do, because if I don't know about this, and I've spent a lot of times outdoors, camping and horseback riding and outdoor sports, then I know that there are other people that might not have known this exists, or maybe they don't feel safe hiking alone and they are looking for people to hike with. And that's truly what ended up coming from this.
Excellent. So now what are you offering folks on Hike+Heal? How do they find you, and what's coming up?
So usually people find me via social media. So social media is the power that allows us to, it's like our form of word of mouth. So if someone comes on a hike, they're, I'm out here with Hike+Heal, they're taking selfies in their hike glow, and someone usually looks and they're like, I want that. I want to do this. This looks cool. And we call it the Hike Hive glow. And, it's just a beautiful glow from within that you see on the outside, and the exterior really shines through. So usually social media is really the driver, and people are sharing. And I'm very, grateful for that because I don't have to pay for much advertising.
That's good. I think that's actually how we met. I think our Instagram slid into your Instagram's direct messages. So we've got a cute little meeting story there.
Yes.
And folks can see you once a month on FOW's social media with some wellness tips. But they don't have to just be limited to FOW sharing. So check out Brandy's Instagram and Facebook under the Hike+Heal name and follow it. It's a lot of fun. I follow it. So I like to see what you're up to. One of the great things that I've really enjoyed seeing is, of course, our beautiful Wissahickon and how many people it seems like recurring you have come, but also bringing new folks, but then expanding people's kind of vision of the great parks we have in Pennsylvania. So, of course, I'm partial and think the Wissahickon is number one, but we do have great state parks throughout the state of Pennsylvania, and I've seen a few of your fun trips, at least through photographs.
Yes.
So, what's coming up for Hike+Heal if people want to get involved?
So what we have coming up, the most recent thing that I put out recently was the field trips. So field trips were an idea I had in the end of 2019 when I saw how much people were really interested, and we started having 50 people show up, and I'm like, wow, the interest, the need is really there. And I thought, okay, well, at a certain point, we love the Wissahickon, there's always going to be new people, but we have to start venturing out, see new things that are around us. And I thought, okay, we could have quarterly field trips to other trails. If it's pretty far, maybe we could just get a bus so people don't have to worry about transportation. They can really relax and sleep on the way back if they need to, to just take that pressure off,
Right.
And, the pandemic hit and field trips were definitely not happening.
No, we weren't all crowding into buses anymore.
We weren't doing that. So, I just, went about the hikes when I could, once we were able to operate at a very safe level. And later, in the beginning of this year, the idea of play came to me that a lot of people during the pandemic kind of revisited things that they hadn't done in a long time or something they've always wanted to do. And it was just about play. What makes you happy? Let's focus on that inner child and revisiting things. And, right before the pandemic, we had our first retreat. And I purchased puzzles for little breaks in between different activities and workshops. And people were like, oh my gosh, I haven't done a puzzle in so long. And, we had a little puzzle posse and they were working on a puzzle together. And it's just those little things that just are moments where you can remember a good time and then create this new moment with your adult counterpart. So it's adult play. So that was the idea I have about creating these field trips to revisit play. So I launched the first one, which will be on June 5th, which is a Saturday, and that's National Trails Day. So
an important holiday for all of us in the park world. Get out there, people.
Yes, so we have to hike. For this one, there's no way we can't hike on National Trails Day. So we're going to do a quick hike in Valley Forge, and we're going to hike Mount Joy because the idea is.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
It's funny because there's a Mount Misery.
Let's not go there.
We're not going there.
We spent a year on Mount Misery. Let's go over to Mount Joy.
We're not going there, but we're going to go to Mount Joy, and we are fortunate to have a Sweet Green sponsoring us, and they're going to give us nourishing bowls, and then we're going to have a field day. So I'm really excited about that.
That sounds awesome. Are you totally booked up, or if folks are interested, there's still room?
I just opened it yesterday. So
all right, these things fill up, people. So if you're interested, check it out.
Please do.
Quick.
Yes.
Really quick. Yeah. So I love that playful, joyful attitude. I've loved some of the great tips for mental health. What's your favorite place or second favorite place to go in the Wissahickon to just, get that restorative calm? Because I think also when we're working to help other people, we also have to not forget ourselves and make sure that we're checking back in with our own joy. So
definitely. I would say I've always had like a connection to the sounds of water calming me. It's very relaxing to me. Like I love when it rains and I can sleep because I'm like, yes, I love that. I love
that is so good.
Rain to go to sleep, and even like natural rain. Like it's nice to turn on like rain, but like to really hear it and like crack your window and smell it. Oh, that's everything to me. So for me and the Wissahickon, of course, I find the most tranquility near the creek, the water. So I would say because this isn't on the map and maybe you have to come on a hike to find it with us, is the renewed forest.
Yeah.
That is a gem. Yeah. And I visited there right before. No, I think I didn't visit it until Juneteenth when we had the silent hike protest. And I might have been able to get there beforehand. And I think I did. I saw it beforehand and I said, oh, this is really nice. This is really like, it's big, but you can kind of have like your little moment to the side and hear the water. It's just beautiful. So we held meditation during the hike protest. And it was so peaceful. People, it was June. It was warm. It was a very warm morning. Why is this morning so humid? But it was very warm. So people like took off their shoes immediately and put their feet in the creek. And it was so grounding and cooling at the same time. So I would say that is one of my favorite places. And everyone always reaches out and they're like, where is it? Because I can't find it on the map. I'm like, I know. So I just love that people reach out and they're like, I want to take my child here. Or I want to take my mom or my friend or my partner. Like it's people always go back to where I take them and they're like, okay, where did you take me again? And they're like, cause I'm not really paying attention because I know you're always going to get me out.
That's really good. It's also great to see people expanding the circle, and wanting to bring others back. So you mentioned the Juneteenth silent protest last year. I know it resonated so much with folks that when we put it out there just as something, it was such a really difficult time and still is, and communities finding ways to heal from and communicate pain, but also healing. And so I don't know that I really have a question, but I was just so inspired to see that happen. It was, I think, also really challenging for it to be during the pandemic because so many people want to come and do that. Now we know we're in a good spot outside. So do you have plans for something this Juneteenth?
Yes, we're going to do it all over again.
All over again.
I thought that it would be a little different this year, but I'm still going to keep it very simple. It was my form of liberation because I've never been in a situation where I've been called to vocally protest. That just wasn't in my wheelhouse. And I felt like, okay, what can you do that feels true to you? And for me, I couldn't sit by and be silent anymore.
Right.
And Hike+Heal had originally, when I thought of it, I thought, should I make this space for Black and brown women because it's very necessary? But I didn't want to limit anyone from being a part if they really wanted to. And I find a lot of women that are not Black and brown, they're like, I really want to be in a space where I can be around diversity and I can see different bodies in a health and wellness space. And it's not just about, weight loss or anything like that. It's just about your overall health and well-being, the mental, the physical, the spiritual. So I'm happy that people receive that message without me having to say it because I don't say it. It's not like I say like, this is of course it's inclusive, but I
Right.
don't see like the language out there about anti-diet and things like that. Like if that's for you, that's for you. But I don't feel like I have to say it. I just have to like walk the walk and the people follow. So Juneteenth, the silent hike protest was something where I said, okay, what can we do? We can wear all black. We can have at the time we had to have a mask. So we can wear a mask that represents the hashtag #HikeHive. And the mask itself was designed by an African woman. And, we're supporting her business, as well as certain proceeds went to a Black women's nonprofit that is designed to help young girls thrive. Excellent. So that was the idea, to just like pull in all these different sources into one mask. Like it was like the mask was it. It was just like, it was the first thing where it was a piece of like merchandise that we had, and to think it was a mask, like that's just insane to me. Like we're like, forget the shirts, mask. But when you look at the photos and you see the energy of that day, it still gives me chills to this day. And I'm like, wow.
No, I saw some of those photos and was just, you like you said, you feel it. You feel all of that emotion, the heaviness, but also the community. So
yeah, and I appreciated that a lot of people on the trails just doing their own thing that day, like stopped when they kind of figured out what was going on. As I recited the names of the men and the women that have fallen victim to police brutality, and to see that people like respected that and they got it. So that was like my form. And that was our first time getting back out together since I think it was February. So people were like, I'm so happy, like to be out here, but to be here for, something so intentional.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it again. It's a Saturday. See the date. I'm working on all the things, but
So stay tuned for what's coming up for Juneteenth. And I think it'll be another inspirational and hopefully healing event. And I know I've read so many comments. People were really grateful for your leadership on that, to find a way to incorporate into nature those feelings. So, all right. So what are we looking forward to from Hike+Heal beyond June? Still planning?
I'm honestly like taking it, like I have ideas, but COVID kind of gives you a little like PTSD.
We're still,
you can plan. You can plan as much as you want, and something we learned that anything can just knock you off your feet. But the goal is to keep on hiking, to keep hosting monthly or bi-monthly like community events, to keep that connection, because people connect so much on the hikes, but sometimes you're like, oh, I really want to connect with this person more, or I didn't get to talk to other people because I was like really connecting with someone else on the hike. So the community events are definitely a space for that. And we have our second retreat, which is already full, but there is a wait list. Get
on the wait list, people.
We had, this would be our third one, and it's a glamping style retreat in on a glamping resort here in PA. It's gorgeous towards Pittsburgh. And I'm very fortunate that people are really responding well to it, and, remaining safe, and, taking all the precautions that I put in place before we go into this space of healing. And and I'll also be part of a camp for young girls and getting them in nature. So we'll actually be taking them to the same retreat center in the fall, which I imagine is going to be great to just see 5 to 13-year-olds.
You're like, what am I thinking?
Guys, they've been in West Philly, all their lives, and for the most part, and then to be stuck in the house for a year, like, So just I took them on an urban hike 2 weeks ago, and we were going to take them to the Wissahickon, but I said, you know what, let's change it up. Let's let them see what is in their neighborhood,
Right.
and to show them the different, businesses and Black-owned businesses or community initiatives that are in their space. And we took them to the park, and just to watch them play, like they were like, can we play? Can we play? I'm like, I can't say no. Like,
no, you can't.
Like, the goal is to take you to the park. So yeah, we're just trying to create space and, increase offerings. It is just me. I'm a one-woman show. So I'm trying to do all the things for everyone. But yeah, just hiking, retreating, and healing. So
I think you're going to have a fundraiser for the camp.
Yes.
So
we had
let's raise some money, people. We
had a fundraiser hike that was May 1st, and we are still raising funds for this camp for young girls, as well as the retreat to take them glamping. We weren't sure if they were ready for camping. We had to ease them in. So it's going to be a beautiful experience for them. I'm excited about that.
Excellent. I've just realized that we've gotten a few questions in the comments. Someone's asked, were you the large group that was hiking through Andorra? It was incredible.
Yes.
I think the answer is yes.
Yes.
Another person just named Glenn says they love you for all you do.
Oh.
And yeah, so those were our two questions, folks. If you have a few more, you can drop them in there. I've discovered where we're keeping those right now.
Yeah. I noticed the private was selected, so now I can see the comments.
So, and then I had one more question for you. So you've been, come on as a consultant for FOW. Are you offering those services to others out there, businesses or nonprofits that might be interested?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, my background is in health administration, health education, and I knew that I didn't want to be tied down to one person's organization. I knew that. I didn't know what it was going to look like. Hike+Heal wasn't created at the time when I knew this, but I always said I want to be a consultant. I want to work on, I love project planning. I love project and program development. I really thrive in that space because I'm not like, but I'm very creative, and I like to use my creativity. And I'm definitely open and ready to take that next step because yes, I am full-time with Hike+Heal, but I do have space to assist and definitely leave a stamp on my community.
Excellent. So I know it's been fabulous for us to have you as part of the FOW family, but recognizing that I think a lot of organizations across the city, we have a great park system in Philadelphia. And so just making that little plug out there, folks.
Yes.
I'm seeing a few other questions popping in here. What's the average difficulty level and time/mileage of your hikes?
Okay. So every hike is going to be slightly challenging because it's not a walk. However, because we have usually half minimum new people,
half,
yeah, I keep it beginner friendly.
Nice.
All the time.
Yeah.
And some people are, they're looking for that all levels level. So and I don't want anyone to ever think that they have to be conditioned at a certain level, prepare. They just come as you are. And that's been working out very well. We had, before the pandemic completely shut us down, I did host an adventure hike. So that was for people that were really interested in climbing a few boulders.
Yeah.
And that worked out really nicely. And then I had to stop. So I do want to start offering a few other levels for people that, they're like, okay, I'm ready for a little more now, so it's usually the minimum is usually a 2-hour hike event. So usually an hour and a half of hiking, and we do our welcome circle. We get, take a break. So yeah.
So it's summer. So folks, if you're going out there, whether you're with Brandy or on your own, bring some water.
Yes.
And some good shoes, and put your bug spray on.
Yes.
Well, Brandy, this has been loads of fun. I hope we get to talk again soon. We love your wellness tips, keeping us healthy and thinking about how to be mindful when we're out there in the forest. So thank you for that. And everyone, check out Hike+Heal on the website, hikeandhealwellness.org, or follow Brandy on social media at Hike+Heal. So I hope that you have a great rest of the day and all of your June events are immensely successful. I know they will be.
Thank you.
Thank you again for spending time with us today.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Bye.